Tonight, we rip back the curtain on the most audacious financial scandal in American history. This is not about politics. This is about a president and his family systematically looting the nation they swore to serve. We are talking about $345 billion, a calculated, brazen, documented heist, carried out from the highest office in the land. This is presidentially scammed. The highest office in the land is now for sale, and the price tag is astronomical. Since January of 2025, the Trump family has engaged in a pattern of self-enrichment that is unprecedented in American history. This is not a partisan attack. This is a fact-based investigation. Billions of dollars flowing directly into the Trump family's pockets, while the American people are left to foot the bill. As Issue 1's Corruption Chronicles put it plainly, the second Trump administration is a powder keg of corruption, influence peddling, and profiteering. This is not just unethical. It is a betrayal of public trust on a scale we have never witnessed. And it is just the beginning of what we have uncovered. Let's look at the numbers, because numbers tell a story that cannot be denied. We are talking about billions, not millions. Billions flowing directly into the Trump family's accounts in just 1 year. From crypto ventures to foreign-backed investment firms. From Pentagon contracts to luxury gifts from foreign governments. The financial gains are staggering. The Qatari jet, the White House ballroom donations, the Pentagon drone contract awarded to his sons. These are not isolated incidents. They are pieces of a much larger, far more disturbing puzzle. And the numbers we are about to lay out are just the tip of the iceberg. So how did they get away with it? They got away with it by systematically demolishing the constitutional firewall designed to protect us. The United States Constitution has 2 emoluments clauses, specifically crafted to prevent a president from being corrupted by foreign or domestic powers. The founders feared this moment. They wrote these clauses to stop it. The Foreign Emoluments Clause prohibits any federal officeholder from accepting gifts from foreign states without congressional consent. The Domestic Emoluments Clause stops the president from receiving financial benefits beyond his salary from any government. These are not obscure legal technicalities. They are fundamental safeguards, and they have been utterly ignored. Let's start with the most glaring example. The Qatari jet, a $400 million flying palace, from a foreign government, accepted without a single shred of congressional approval. In May of 2025, it was revealed that President Trump was preparing to accept a Boeing 747 luxury jetliner as a gift from Qatar's royal family. This was not a loan. It was slated to become a replacement Air Force One, then transferred directly to the Trump Presidential Library after his term. Trump himself called it stupid not to accept. And his Attorney General, Pam Bondi, a former paid lobbyist for Qatar, conveniently blessed the arrangement as legal. As Representative Jamie Raskin put it, a gift you use for 4 years and then deposit in your library is still a gift. And a grift. This is not just a gift. It is a massive, undeniable emolument, a direct financial benefit from a foreign power. And it is just one piece of the puzzle. The Qatar jet is not just a lavish gift. It is a legal minefield. Georgetown law professor David Super did not mince words. This transfer to Trump's personal library is unequivocally illegal. A gift to the government is one thing, but a gift that ends up in an entity the president controls for his own benefit, that is a direct violation. Former White House ethics lawyer Richard Painter agrees. Trump needed congressional consent, which he never sought. This is not an oversight. It is a deliberate sidestepping of the law to enrich the president. Now let's look at who Qatar is in all of this. They are far from a neutral player. They have enormous stakes in United States policy. Qatar is a key funder of Jared Kushner's affinity partners, a central player in Middle East negotiations where Kushner serves as a United States envoy, a nation actively seeking favorable trade and military arrangements with Washington. And their former paid lobbyist, Pam Bondi, now heads the United States Department of Justice. The question is not just what Trump received. The question is, what did Qatar receive in return? This kind of arrangement is not limited to foreign governments. It is happening right here at home. The White House ballroom renovation project. Another glaring example of pay-to-play, a scheme that funneled $400 million in anonymous corporate donations. A public citizen investigation exposed the truth. Over 24 corporate donors to this project received nearly $43 billion in federal contracts during the same period. The Trump administration fought tooth and nail to keep these details secret, refusing to disclose donor identities or project specifics, until a federal court forced their hand. This is not philanthropy. This is a direct exchange of cash for influence and contracts. When the contract was finally released, it exposed a philanthropic support agreement designed to shield donors and profit contractors. This agreement allowed for a 2.5% general contractor fee on the $400 million project. And the administration chose a Maryland-based company that Trump repeatedly praised, raising immediate red flags about the selection process. This is not about improving the White House. This is about creating an opaque financial arrangement where corporations can buy access and favorable government treatment. This pattern of blurring lines between public service and private profit extends directly to the president's own family, specifically Jared Kushner. Jared Kushner, the son-in-law who promised to stay out of government, broke both of his promises almost immediately. He was appointed as a special envoy for peace, a senior diplomatic role, while simultaneously operating a private equity firm called Affinity Partners. That firm amassed $6.16 billion in assets. An astonishing 99% of that funding came from foreign nationals, specifically the sovereign wealth funds of Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and Qatar. This is not just a conflict of interest. It is a direct pipeline for foreign money into the Trump family's pockets. While Kushner is negotiating United States foreign policy, let's break down the numbers behind Affinity Partners. This is not some small venture. We are talking about $6.2 billion in assets under management. 99% of that money comes from foreign governments. Saudi Arabia alone poured in over $2 billion. Qatar and the UAE added to the pot. And what have these foreign investors received in return for their billions? Zero profit has been returned to them. This is not about smart investing. This is about buying influence. Plain and simple. The Saudi investment in Kushner's firm was not just a bad business decision. It was a strategic political move. When Affinity Partners first came calling for $2 billion, Saudi Arabia's own financial advisors looked at Kushner's firm and said no. They found its operations unsatisfactory in every single aspect. But Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman did not care about due diligence. He overruled his own experts. Why? Because this was never about making money. It was about cultivating a strategic relationship with Jared Kushner. This $2 billion was not an investment. It was a down payment on influence, a direct pipeline to the Trump White House. This is where the corruption becomes undeniable. Jared Kushner, the United States government's chief negotiator for Middle East peace, is simultaneously managing a firm where Saudi Arabia's crown prince is his largest investor. This is not a subtle conflict of interest. It is a glaring, incurable one. He is negotiating deals that directly affect the economic interests of Qatar and the UAE, his other major investors. And he is pursuing a $55 billion deal with the Saudi Sovereign Wealth Fund to acquire Electronic Arts. As Representative Jamie Raskin put it, you cannot be a diplomat and a financial pawn of the Saudi monarchy at the same time. You cannot faithfully represent the United States with billions in Saudi and Emirati cash burning a hole in every pocket of every suit you own. The stench of this corruption has become so overwhelming that even Congress cannot ignore it. Representative Jamie Raskin, the ranking member of the House Judiciary Committee, has launched a sweeping investigation into Kushner's foreign entanglements. They are demanding documents, communications, everything related to his business dealings and his diplomatic work. This investigation is not just about ethics. It is about whether Kushner's conduct violates bribery laws, conflict of interest provisions, and the Foreign Agents Registration Act. Raskin has made it clear. This is a priority. They expect full cooperation. But will they get it? Consider this. On September 29, 2025, President Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu announced a major Gaza peace deal from the White House. A diplomatic achievement, right? But on that very same day, Jared Kushner and the Saudi Sovereign Wealth Fund announced a $55 billion deal to acquire Electronic Arts. This is not a coincidence. This is a pattern. Diplomatic achievements and personal business deals so intertwined that it is impossible to tell where United States national interests end and Kushner family profits begin. And here is the kicker. This Electronic Arts deal needs approval from federal regulators that Kushner's father-in-law, the president, has the power to influence. Now let's talk about Trump Media, also known as DJT, the world's most expensive vanity project. This company is a financial black hole, yet it somehow made Donald Trump a paper billionaire. We are talking about $712 million in losses, against a paltry $3.7 million in revenue in 2025. This is not a business. It is a financial anomaly, a meme stock, a vehicle for loyalists and potentially foreign entities to funnel money directly to the president. And the numbers just kept getting worse. The first quarter of 2026 was an absolute catastrophe for Trump Media. They reported a staggering $405.9 million loss, on less than $1 million in revenue. The primary culprit? Reckless investments in volatile cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Kronos. This company is now desperately trying to spin off Truth Social, which raises serious questions about what happens to the billions in paper value that have already enriched the president. This is not just bad business. It is a shell game, because while Trump Media was bleeding cash, the president was busy building his crypto empire, raking in an estimated $3.4 billion in just 1 year. He went from a crypto skeptic to a crypto kingpin, and he did it through multiple schemes. World Liberty Financial, a Trump-branded DeFi platform. Official Trump and Melania meme coins. Even Trump Media itself started investing its cash reserves in Bitcoin. The man who sets cryptocurrency regulation is now one of its biggest beneficiaries. The conflict of interest here is not just glaring. It is absolute. Let's dig into the World Liberty Financial crypto deal, because this is where the line between national security and family profit completely dissolves. The American Progress Institute documented how Trump's World Liberty Financial struck a deal with a UAE-backed crypto firm. This arrangement allowed foreign sovereign wealth interests to invest directly into a Trump family financial vehicle. And this was happening while the Trump administration was simultaneously setting United States policy toward the UAE. This is not just a foreign emoluments violation. This is selling access to the president, trading national security for family profit. And then we have the meme coin scandal, a classic pump and dump. The official Trump meme coin launched just days before his inauguration. Its value exploded, generating hundreds of millions for the Trump family, who held a massive portion of the supply. But after that initial surge, the coin's value collapsed, wiping out the investments of ordinary retail buyers. The Trump family's pre-allocated coins were already sold or retained at peak value. This is illegal in traditional markets, and it is a blatant exploitation of his own supporters. We have seen how the Trump family directly profits from crypto schemes, but the corruption runs deeper. A BBC investigation uncovered a consistent pattern of trading spikes just hours, sometimes minutes, before Trump's market-moving announcements. This is not coincidence. This is a blueprint for insider trading, a clear signal that someone always knew what was coming. These are not minor fluctuations. We are talking about massive trades on financial instruments, clearly indicating that someone was privy to what Donald Trump was about to declare. Yet the system is rigged so that no one gets prosecuted. Let's look at a concrete example. The oil surge. On March 9, 2026, Trump declared the United States-Israel war with Iran very complete. Oil prices plummeted. But 47 minutes before his statement went public, a massive surge of bets on falling oil prices hit the market. Someone knew that information. Traders who placed those bets made millions, while the rest of us watched the news unfold. The SEC declined to comment. The pattern continues with the tariffs pause. On April 9, 2025, Trump announced a 90-day pause on his Liberation Day tariffs. The S&P 500 soared. But 18 minutes before his announcement, traders poured over $2 million into bets on the market surging. They turned that into nearly $20 million in profit. This was not a lucky guess. It was a calculated move based on privileged information. Senior Senate Democrats demanded an investigation. The SEC remained silent. Now let's talk about the prediction markets, where the corruption gets even more brazen. Donald Trump Jr. sits on the board of Polymarket, a blockchain-based prediction market. In February of 2026, 6 accounts were created on Polymarket, all betting on a United States strike on Iran by February 28. When Trump confirmed the attacks, those accounts earned $1.2 million. 5 of those 6 accounts have been dormant since. Another account won $436,000 after betting on Maduro's ousting in Venezuela, just before he was seized by United States Special Forces. This is a direct pipeline from the White House to private pockets. And the regulatory bodies? They are nowhere to be found. This brings us to the regulatory void, the gaping hole where accountability should be. Insider trading has been illegal for most Americans since 1933. It was extended to government officials in 2012. Yet not a single person has been prosecuted under that law as it applies to government officials. The White House even sent an internal email warning staff not to use insider information on prediction markets, an admission that the problem is rampant. But no enforcement follows. After ignoring the regulatory void, we now turn to a new low: outright war profiteering. Eric Trump and Donald Trump Jr. launched Powerus, a drone company, in late 2025. This was not just any startup. It specialized in interceptor drones, specifically designed for the Middle East. Then, with chilling precision, their father, President Trump, initiated military strikes against Iran. Without congressional approval, this manufactured conflict created an immediate, massive demand for the very product his son's company was poised to sell. The timing is not a coincidence. It is a blueprint for profit. Following the president's unilateral war, the Pentagon swiftly awarded Powerus a $24 million contract for interceptor drones. This was a no-bid deal, bypassing standard competitive processes under the guise of urgent national security requirements. The president created the demand, and his Defense Department funneled taxpayer money directly to his son's company. Former White House ethics lawyer Richard Painter did not mince words. This is going to be the first family of a president to make a lot of money off war. This is not just a conflict of interest. It is a direct pipeline from the Pentagon to the Trump family's bank accounts. This blatant profiteering was enabled by a flagrant disregard for the Constitution. President Trump bypassed Congress entirely, initiating a war against Iran without any authorization. The War Powers Resolution requires congressional approval for military action, a requirement Trump simply ignored. His administration then claimed the conflict effectively ended during a 2-week ceasefire, a legal maneuver designed to avoid oversight. The war may have been over on paper, but the profits for the Trump sons were very real. The pattern of leveraging power for profit extends even to the nation's most sensitive secrets. Newly revealed Justice Department records suggest President Trump took highly classified documents not just as mementos, but to advance his business interests. A leaked memo indicated that these documents, detailing foreign military capabilities, were potentially intended as leverage in international business negotiations. This is not just a security breach. It is an alleged attempt to weaponize state secrets for personal gain. The DOJ under Trump has remained silent, refusing to investigate this grave accusation. The Trump Organization's real estate deals with foreign governments tell the same story. Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the UAE all have Trump-branded projects in development, worth billions. The Trump Organization does not invest capital, collects millions in branding and management fees. This means the president is literally licensing his name to foreign governments, while simultaneously setting United States policy toward them. The Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, was sold to the American people as a cost-cutting crusade, a way to trim the fat from Washington. But this was never about efficiency for the people. This was about profit for the family. Politico's analysis exposed the truth. DOGE saved less than 5% of its claimed $215 billion. A brazen lie. They claimed an $8 billion saving on one contract. The real number was a mere $8 million. This is not incompetence. This is deliberate deception. And who benefits from this so-called efficiency? The very man leading Doge, Elon Musk. He is dismantling the regulatory bodies that oversee his own companies, while simultaneously gutting his competitors. Federal contracts that dared to compete with SpaceX. Cut. Regulatory oversight of Tesla's self-driving technology. Reduced. The FCC and FTC, agencies that should be scrutinizing his social media platform, defunded. This is not about making government work better. This is about using the power of the presidency to eliminate obstacles and competition for one man's personal empire. Justice for sale. That is what we are talking about when we look at the pardon power. The Trump family launched World Liberty Financial, tying their personal wealth directly to the volatile crypto market. And then, almost immediately, Trump pardoned the founder of Binance, the world's largest crypto exchange, a man convicted of massive money laundering. This was not an act of mercy. It was a calculated move. The pardon instantly boosted the crypto market, directly inflating the value of the Trump family's new venture. This is not executive privilege. This is blatant corruption, using the highest office to line their own pockets. We are not just talking about ethical lapses here. We are talking about a full-blown constitutional crisis. The emoluments clauses, designed by our founders to prevent a president from being bought, are being openly defied. The Foreign Emoluments Clause forbids gifts from foreign states. Yet we have seen the Qatar jet and the World Liberty Financial UAE deal. The Domestic Emoluments Clause prohibits financial benefits beyond salary from our own government. Yet the White House ballroom donations scream pay to play. And then there is the Stock Act, designed to prevent insider trading by government officials. The patterns we have uncovered, the massive trades before major announcements, they all point to clear violations. This is not just bending the rules. This is breaking them. Systematically, deliberately. The verdict is in. And it is scathing. The New York City Bar Association has delivered a damning indictment. Their report concluded that this administration is operating in direct violation of federal ethics laws and constitutional mandates. They specifically called out the ongoing foreign real estate deals and the complete absence of a blind trust. This is not some partisan attack. This is a nonpartisan legal body stating unequivocally that the presidency is being used for personal enrichment. The Brennan Center for Justice confirmed that Trump's actions potentially violate both the foreign and domestic emoluments clauses. This is not just about ethics. It is about a constitutional crisis. The sheer volume of foreign money pouring into the president's businesses creates a national security nightmare. It means foreign powers can buy influence directly from the Oval Office. And Congress, the body meant to stop this, has simply looked away. The Republican silence is deafening. And it is complicity. This party, which once championed the Constitution, now looks the other way as their president demolishes it. No investigations into the Qatar jet. No questions about Kushner's foreign billions. No outrage over the Powerous drone contract. This is not neutrality. This is an active cover-up. To ensure this heist could continue unchecked, the watchdogs had to be silenced. Trump systematically fired or forced the resignations of multiple inspectors general. These are the independent investigators whose job it is to root out fraud and corruption within federal agencies. They were purged just as they started digging into the administration's financial ties. You do not fire the independent watchdogs unless you have something massive to hide. The Supreme Court's immunity ruling gave Trump a literal get-out-of-jail-free card. By granting broad immunity for official acts, the court effectively shielded the president from criminal prosecution. This ruling did not just protect the president. It provided a legal blueprint for how to monetize the Oval Office. The founder's worst nightmare has been given legal cover by the nation's highest court. Let's be clear. This is not some abstract financial maneuver. This is a direct assault on your wallet, your future, and the very fabric of this nation. While the Trump family rakes in billions, you are the one paying for it. Through inflated defense contracts, through gutted social safety nets, through a rigged stock market where insiders profit while ordinary retirement accounts bear the risk. Every dollar funneled into a no-bid contract or a foreign real estate deal is a dollar stolen from American infrastructure, education, and security. This is not a string of unfortunate coincidences. This is a meticulously crafted blueprint for systematic plunder. A calculated strategy to convert public office into private profit. They create the demand, whether through an unprovoked war or a market-shaking tariff announcement. They dismantle every safeguard that would expose their corruption, and they funnel the resulting billions directly into their own accounts. This is not just corruption. This is a criminal enterprise, and it is operating with precision. So what do we do when the system is rigged and the watchdogs are muzzled? We fight back with every legal and democratic tool we have left. We demand congressional subpoenas that force these criminals to reveal their illicit dealings. We demand an independent counsel, insulated from political pressure, to investigate every breach of the emoluments clause. And if they refuse to divest, if they refuse to put the American people before their own greed, then we demand impeachment. The Constitution provides the weapons. We just need the will to use them. When the halls of power are silent, when the Justice Department turns a blind eye, it falls to us, the independent press, to scream the truth from the rooftops. We will not be silenced. We will keep digging, keep exposing, keep connecting the dots between their policy decisions and their overflowing bank accounts. The American people deserve to know the full extent of this scam, and we will not rest until every last detail is laid bare. Sunlight is the ultimate disinfectant, and we are bringing the brightest light we have. The verdict is in, and it is damning. This is not a presidency. This is a criminal enterprise, a brazen, systematic operation to extract wealth from the American people and from foreign states, from crypto scams to war profiteering, from real estate bailouts to insider trading. The office of the president has been fully monetized. This is the greatest scam in American history, a $345 billion heist that has left our nation plundered and our democracy in peril. America's credibility on the global stage is in tatters, sacrificed for the Trump family's insatiable greed. How can we possibly lecture other nations on corruption when our own president is the most brazen example of it? The world is watching, and they see a nation whose leader is for sale. The silence from Washington is deafening, but it is a silence we, the American public, must shatter. We must demand accountability, or this heist will become the new normal. The most disturbing part of this $345 billion heist is not just the corruption itself. It is the chilling normalization of it. We have seen the evidence, the investigations, the legal opinions, yet a collective shrug seems to be the prevailing response. This is dangerous complacency, and it allows this blueprint for corruption to solidify. We cannot let this become the legacy of this administration. We are deciding right now whether the presidency is a public service or a private enterprise. History is watching. So after all of this, is it illegal? The answer is a resounding yes. The evidence points to multiple, undeniable violations of federal law and the very Constitution this president swore to uphold. The Qatar jet, the White House ballroom, Kushner's foreign billions, the insider trading, the war profiteering by his sons, the crypto schemes, each one a clear breach. The question is not whether laws were broken. It is whether anyone in power has the courage to enforce them. This is not a debate. It is a verdict. And the only thing standing between this criminal enterprise and justice is our collective will. This will only succeed if we, the American people, remain uninformed or disengaged. But we are not powerless. Stay informed. Seek out credible, independent journalism. Contact your representatives. Demand they support investigations and oversight. Support the watchdog organizations fighting this battle in the courts. And most importantly, vote. The ballot box is the ultimate check on presidential power. Share this information. The more people who know, the harder it becomes for them to look the other way. This is not just a story about one man or one family. This is a reckoning for American democracy itself. Can our institutions, our laws, our norms survive a sustained assault by those sworn to protect them? The evidence is in the public record. The legal violations are documented. The experts have spoken. The watchdogs have been silenced. The Congress has looked away. But history does not look away, and neither will we. This has been presidentially scammed. The $345 billion heist. Like, share, and ring the bell to be notified of future videos. Presented by Word Up Media Network.